Hillary Rodham gazed out the window of the beat-up '68 Buick rolling down Interstate 81, and saw spruce trees, the Blue Ridge Mountains, and the life she had left behind. Miss Rodham, then a 26-year-old lawyer, had just finished working on the Watergate committee and wanted to be with her boyfriend, Bill Clinton, who was teaching law in Arkansas. Her landlord, Sara Ehrman, who worried her bright young tenant was throwing away her future, offered to drive her down from Washington, and over the course of 2 days and 1,193 miles in August 1974, Mrs. Ehrman tried to talk Miss Rodham out of her plan. "We'd drive along and I'd say, 'Hillary, for God's sake,'" Mrs. Ehrman, now 97, recalled. "You'll just be a country lawyer down there." Their journey had some of the ingredients of a classic American road trip: a cheap motel, tchotchke purchases, encounters with drunken strangers, and deeply personal conversations. Mrs. Ehrman, a strong-minded career woman who had scrapped her way to becoming a senior congressional aide years before the feminist movement of the 1960s, believed Miss Rodham could do anything, and could not believe that she was shelving her promising career for an uncertain future at Bill Clinton's side in Fayetteville, Arkansas. But each time Mrs. Ehrman would raise the issue, Miss Rodham would politely respond, "I love him, and I want to be with him." The trip 42 years ago offers a glimpse at a Hillary Clinton the public seldom sees. She was not yet a self-assured lawyer, a powerful political wife, or a tenacious presidential candidate, but a young woman, wide-eyed and eager, vulnerable and afraid, at the cusp of a momentous decision that would alter the course of her life. And Mrs. Ehrman, then 55, had an unusually close-up view of the woman who would become the first female presidential nominee of a major party. Young Hillary Rodham, Mrs. Ehrman recalled, was an intelligent, unstylish, hard-working woman, if an occasionally sloppy tenant, who had an infectious, throaty laugh and often failed to make her bed in the morning. The two met in 1972. Mrs. Ehrman was working as co-director of issues and research for George McGovern's presidential campaign in Texas, and the Democratic National Committee had sent Mrs. Clinton, a law student at the time, to help with voter registration. A young girl walked in. She looked like 18 or 19, Mrs. Ehrman said of the first time she saw Mrs. Clinton at the campaign's headquarters in San Antonio. She had brown hair, brown glasses, brown top, brown skirt, brown shoes, brown visage, no makeup. They shared a cheap dinner at a Tex-Mex restaurant in downtown San Antonio and didn't speak again until 1973, when Mrs. Clinton, then a Yale law graduate, got a coveted job on the Watergate committee and called Mrs. Ehrman for advice on finding a place to live in Washington.